I can't get enough of this.
I know.
Like-
On that drive this morning, I was just like, the whole way, even though it was like 4 in the morning, I was like, I'm so thankful to you for making me get up and drive through London into the sunrise.
Yeah. I mean, travelling up
That's the
west
whole way.
like that
It was
is-
insane.
It is so nice, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
5:21. Okay, let's just go. We'll go through. Maybe go and have a little look down into town a little bit, and then we'll swing back this way.
Because I haven't been over this way for a good while now. My brother, they used to live in Stoke Newington.
Oh, okay.
And then they moved out to Datchet, which is like a tiny little village like outside Windsor. And then that's why then I moved out there. But it's nice to be in town again.
Oh yeah, you're enjoying it?
Yeah.
Well, I am with SJ Hoadley from Drama Free Diaries.
Yeah, that's
your
it.
channel. My goodness. Wait a moment. I mean, I thought my channel like did well with like exploding into something. But talk about like yours. Did you say your channel is 4 weeks old? But then you've got like a YouTube that you were doing before. Hey, hang on. Let's just focus on staying alive until we get over into that
Okay,
bit.
fine.
Right. So what's been going on? And why have you just suddenly started smashing it? And what is a loneliness influencer? And is this the reason? Hang on. Let's just stay alive for a moment. Once we get through there, we're gonna be absolutely fine. Sorry, that's so many questions in one.
I know.
But what is it? Well, like what? I want to know.
Well, I think a loneliness influencer, apparently, is just somebody who kind of builds their social media account around the fact that they have no friends. So.
But is this the truth?
Yeah, 100 million %. Not one.
Whoa, hang on. This suddenly brings. Makes me. I've got so many questions though. Because you're not an awful person.
Well, I hope not. I try not to be.
But so what?
Well, so for me, the story was, so I left, I was in like a situation where there was like domestic abuse. So 3 years ago, I left. And also, on top of that, like we were both deep in our addiction. So it was kind of, I think, it sort of makes sense to, when you move to a different place, do you know what I mean, to lose all of those old ties. I wouldn't have really called any of those people friends anyway, but I think the thing that has been resonating with people is that it's really hard to find friends as an adult. So although I've been in Windsor now for 3 years, and I've done some stuff, like I've joined running clubs and I've done art classes and things. So, you know, it's just, I think it's difficult for people seem to find it hard these days to kind of form like really meaningful connections. And I think, you know, it's something that a lot of people struggle with. But I think the idea of the whole loneliness influencer is that we very rarely are using the word lonely. Like, I wouldn't describe myself as being lonely.
Okay,
like,
right.
So it's more a celebration
okay.
of like, you know, being, having agency over your own decisions and, you know, getting to like being in your own company and, you know.
Because I heard a thing about donkeys recently. And the thing about donkeys is that if you have a donkey, you need to have a second donkey, or you need to have another, basically, creature that it can be, because otherwise they just suffer terribly from being on their own. And that is me. Like if I have to spend a day like on my own, I start losing it. That doesn't work for me.
But do you know what, Jenny, though? That's exactly what I was like.
Really?
I was like that, and so I was, oh my God, look, urban
These
fox.
guys, I mean, you see them, that's what they do.
Yeah. He definitely looked like a street fox, didn't he? But yeah, that's exactly what I was like. You know, I was always around people, always had a boyfriend, and I think for me, this kind of whole alone era has been amazing. Like when I first moved in when I was first living alone, I'd say for the first 9 months, I was going to bed at 8:30 because I just could not sit in my own company in the evenings. I found it like exactly like you're saying. It was just like excruciating. And so it took a while to get used to it, and now I absolutely love it. So I just think there's something to be said for, I don't want to be like this forever, right? I would really like to have a group of friends, not like a huge group of friends, but it'd be nice to have like one or two like close sort of girlfriends. But I'm really glad for this time that I've had to get to know myself and like genuinely, if someone said, what do you want to watch on TV or what do you want to eat tonight? It was like, I just didn't know. So you do get to know yourself.
I mean, without me wanting to sound like I'm therapizing.
No,
I guess, like, to me, it sounds like you're in the process of kind of rebuilding yourself.
100%, and I think that's I think that's why accounts like this have kind of exploded in the way that they have, because these days, you know, we're lucky that these days you can sort of rebuild and pivot and like start a whole new life, you know, at any stage, but particularly like later in life. So we'll have lots of followers who are like, say, women whose kids have just gone off to university,
right,
or, you know, they've got divorced or moved away. And I think there's lots of people who can identify with like starting from scratch. But for me, I mean, I literally walked out with a plastic bag of clothes. So I started from zero. But I think once you sort of get over once you let go of all the stuff that you've lost, it was actually really like liberating. Do you know what I mean? It was like I could choose whatever I wanted, you know, whatever I wanted to do, whatever I wanted like my flat to look like, or, you know, how did I want to make money? It's like, we're lucky, do you know what I mean, to be able to do that these days.
What is it? What would you say was the thing that brought on an initial dependency?
I think you have to have kind of like a perfect storm of, so there's, you know, DNA, something in your childhood that's caused there to be some sort of hole that you're trying to fill, and then that kind of, that experience with substances. So you have to be exposed to something, and I think once you have those three things all happen, it's kind of like, so for me, like our mum died when we were all really young, so I was 12 and my brothers were 9 and 5. So, but it's not that alone, because neither of my brothers are addicts, right? So it's that, and then obviously there's some kind of, you know, there's something chemical about it. And then, you know, being exposed to substances like, you know, early in like my teenage years.
We just spoke off the record, I guess, like a bit about, like, because I experienced being with someone who was an addict for a while, and I just kind of found it so, it really, really hit me. I was quite young at the time, and it really, really hit me when I discovered, let's head out across there. And I think that you said a really interesting point about, I mean, I think you used the word disabling.
Yeah,
disabling.
Exactly.
But, like, here's the thing, and this is what's so mad, like, you don't look like you've been through all this.
You know, look, so this is like 3.5 years like now that I've been in recovery, and, you know, and looking after myself, but I think there's always that, you know, it just knows no bounds. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter like what your background is, what your, you know, what lifestyle you have, like who your parents are. You know, addiction will come for anybody. And also, if you'd have seen me 3.5 years ago, you probably would have said.
Really?
Yeah. I think, you know, for me, like it just got to that point where I had I had given up giving up, right?
Okay.
So I was like, I think at that, when you're really not taking care of yourself and you just like don't care anymore, like that's why this has been like such a, I was thinking this when I was driving over here, right? I used to be up and about at 4:30 in the morning on a regular basis, but I don't think I ever noticed the sunrise.
Right.
So
because,
you're just not
just
looking. It's like you spend your whole life looking down. And I just feel like now I'm looking up and around, and, you know, I can't believe sometimes that I didn't notice these things that are around us, but I just think it's a really, you can tell people that recovery is possible and we do recover, but there's something really visceral about seeing someone and seeing, I think the thing that social media does is you get to see inside someone's life. So, people are only seeing me come home from work, put my dinner on, have a shower, but there's something about the immediacy of seeing, I'm not saying that I would have left any sooner or that it would have changed anything, but I think I might have felt less daunted about what life was going to look like afterwards, because I think for a lot of us, you don't have to have had a traumatic background, but I think if you're rebuilding from nothing, and especially if you don't have kids, that feeling that you're behind everyone else, or your life doesn't look like it was supposed to look.
Yeah.
I think if you've just got that picture in your head of what actually that you can not have kids, not have a huge social circle, maybe not be doing the career that you imagined, but you can still come home and feel really secure and safe and enjoy your life. I mean, I think sometimes people have used the words it's achievable aspiration, right? So I live in a tiny studio flat.
Yeah.
Right? But it's all mine.
Yeah.
And it's really cozy.
Yeah.
I work as a cleaner, but it's my business. And sorry, I've just been whacking the mic there.
It's all right.
So I think it's for the first, well, not for the first time, I'm sure other people have done this, but instead of scrolling and coming away with that horrible, icky feeling like your life doesn't look like everyone else's, I think people come away and think, I could do that, that's achievable.
Yeah. I think the stuff that does really well when I post it is when I talk about, I did one where I was talked about feeling like a loser.
Right.
I do one where I'm talking about my dad dying or dealing with someone with dementia.
Right.
Because I think that really just hits home with regards to just everyone's dealing with similar stuff.
Yeah. I think if you're just honest and and authentic, I think there'll always be someone that watches that and thinks, yeah, that's me. That's how I feel. And there's just that feeling of being less alone, I think. I genuinely thought, I didn't know anyone who was in their 40s, had no kids, was renting a 350 square foot studio flat. I felt exactly like that, like a loser. I was, I just didn't measure up. And there's something really, to be able to kind of put that out on social media and say, but the aspiration is peace, right? So at the end of the day, when I'm curled up on the sofa with my cat, it's there's nothing else I could want for. Of course, I'd love to have. Look at this. This is insane.
It's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, it is, because look at it.
I'm thinking about those guys who are roasting you for saying this is the thing, but this is the thing. This is the thing.
He's been in touch.
No way.
Max Rushfield, he's been in touch, and he's like, well, come on then, we got to go for a ride. And I'm like, damn right, this is mega. I'm so stoked. Because for me, it's really let's kind of.
Yeah.
Let's kind of build friendships.
Exactly.
Exactly. Well, SJ, what a blooming treat to just come and have this little experience.
Thank you,
Nice.
because it's been like I said, just the drive and everything. It's most people would think getting up at 3 a.m. would be their worst nightmare, but this is.
I've done many. I've done so many, but I mean, look.
You can't beat it.
It kind of never fails.
Yeah.
To be like.
That's
this
it.
is cool,
Because I cycle to work at 5 every morning. I don't think I ever don't smile at some point during that cycle.